Welcome back to Bomb Shelf. I'm Josh.
I'm Keith.
I'm Sterling.
Eventually, Eric will come back. Joyce, can you tell our viewers at home what we're drinking today?
Today you are drinking Hunter Rye. Hunter Rye is a blended Canadian whiskey made from Canadian rye grain. It is produced by Seagram Distillers, which is owned by Sazerac. The label features Alaskan motifs with Eskimos and sled dogs depicted boldly on the front. Hunter Rye comes in at 90 proof. We paid $8 for our bottle, with it usually costing around $11. As always, your prices may vary. Enjoy.
Thanks, Joyce. Let's dive in and see what they think of this.
All right.
It's a very dark color. I'd say caramel.
It's got
Caramel, almost brown.
Yeah.
Golden brown. Oak. It's oak colored.
A bit like a pH of 8.
All I smell is ethanol. I might let that
I'm
sit.
smelling something. It's got a...
Pineapple.
Yeah, I smell fruit. It's kind of coconutty. Pineapple.
It's sweet. Like once you get past the ethanol, it's sweet.
I thought you said this was whiskey. I'm thinking it's Bacardi 151.
Rum. Yeah. Spice rum over here.
It is whiskey.
Kind of a vanilla flavor. Or scent.
And there's something floral. I'm getting some floral note.
One of the first notes I got was actually kind of going with that vanilla was like caramel,
Uh-huh.
but I'm not getting it anymore. It's getting more vanilla.
I wonder if it's the caramel versus vanilla, like, because
They're definitely
they're
close.
similar in nature,
Yeah.
but like they're different enough that you can tell what they are.
I think I'm getting lilac.
You always get the most interesting notes.
Well, we used to have a lilac tree that came over our deck, and anytime you came out our back door, that was what you smelled right away was
Yeah.
lilac. And that is what I'm smelling here.
It's got a very strong, very distinct smell to it as well.
Salty.
A little bit of alcohol burn.
Yeah. Salt and cracked pepper potato chips.
I'm going salted caramel. It's silky
Getting a little
and
caramel.
vanilla. Both of them.
I'm getting that cracked pepper before I get the caramel.
It's kind of like a red hot, where there's a little bit of a cinnamon flavor
Yeah.
mixed in with the caramel and
Cinnamon, a little bit of ginger.
The finish on the throat is short.
Yeah.
Some sweetness lingers on the tongue. I don't mind it.
But it's hot.
Yeah, I would say it's hot.
Towards the tip of my tongue, I'm getting a little bit of smoky caramelized sugar. Like if you're baking something and you spill sugar on your heating element in the
Yeah.
oven or something
Yeah.
like that.
the scent of the caramelizing. I can kind of smell that hints there too.
But yeah, I don't mind that.
No, I don't either.
It's got a nice
But
note.
wow, that burns.
Yeah, so despite
on
the
finish.
despite the alcohol burn, I think it's pretty. I don't mind it. I do want to add water to this though.
Yeah. But are you finding it as an alcohol burn? Because I'm finding it as a peppery burn.
I'm alcohol. Yeah, a little bit of both.
Okay.
Yeah, mine's like a spicy burn. Like it's
Yeah,
not
like
it's not ethanol. It's more
It's
like a
habanero.
hot pepper. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like a cinnamon or like a red hot. I get the ethanol part of it though. It's just the burn itself
Yeah.
is more like a cinnamon, red hot, red pepper kind of thing.
I like it.
Yeah.
Ready for the water?
Yep.
Yes.
I'm ready.
All right. Well, while the water mixes and mingles, I'll tell you about our homes on the internet. I'm going to first say, if you wouldn't mind, please hit that subscribe button, give us a like, give us a comment. We really appreciate it. Also, our home, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter now,
Yes.
and on our new home on the internet for our podcast at podhubnetwork.com. By now, we should be all set there. You should see a lot of our previous episodes on there, and we will be releasing those episodes alongside these episodes here on YouTube. Also, you can buy this bottle from Drizly in the link down below, but you can buy anything from there through the link below, and we'll get profit. Let's dive in and see what they think.
Yeah,
It mellows the nose.
it does.
Yeah.
I don't get as much of the ethanol.
I'm getting
But I'm-
more vanilla extract. Like not vanilla, but vanilla extract.
I still don't get any flour though. Like any
I'm
flowers
actually
at all.
getting more
Really?
floral and almost like a an orange blossom now.
It smells a little citrusy though. Maybe that's the orange blossom you're smelling.
I'm just getting sweet notes like frosting, like sugar, vanillas. That's all I'm getting. I'm getting no floral notes for me.
It's like a nice dessert whiskey.
Okay, so the finish is not as hot now.
I kind of miss it.
Yeah.
It doesn't linger as long.
No, it's definitely shorter.
I think it's sweeter. It tends more to the sweet notes than the pepper notes, which I think that's going to be a preference thing for people.
That could mix really well depending on what your preference is.
Yeah.
Like if you like the sweeter notes, you can mix that with a Coke. And
well, even then, I think the pepper notes could really come out in a cocktail too.
yeah.
Hazelnut on the finish. I'm getting almost hazelnut and kind of pecan pie at the finish on this.
Yeah, the sweet notes, you just get the pecan in there.
Yeah.
That goes to your sugar flavors, Josh.
Yeah.
Oh. No, I guess you got that.
Yeah.
On the finish there, like the very end of it, like right where the fifth palate and finish meet. Yeah, I got that.
Yeah,
pecan pie.
Yeah, just when you think you're done with the finish, it's like, oh, no, I got this too.
And I recently learned that I like pecan pie, so. All right, are we ready for some ratings?
I'm ready for ratings.
Yeah.
All right, we'll start with the nose.
Nose, I'm going to go 3. It was interesting, but I don't know, just middle of the road for me. Interesting, but nothing over the top.
I think for the noses, it's a 3. It was interesting. It was pretty average. Didn't have much excitement there. You could tell what the scents were that you were about to drink, and it kind of invites you in, but it's not like a.
And in a sense,
you need this.
Yeah. In a sense, were what we got in the palate, so like they matched well.
Yeah.
They told you what to expect. I was gonna say 2.5, but then I'm still gonna do 2.5. Yeah, 2.5. No, I'm going 3.
Come to the dark side.
Yeah, I'll do 3. I'm gonna say 3.
Join us, Josh.
But for the same reason, they were sweet. They were there. I didn't like the ethanol at the first. Like it comes off very strong and really potent, like right away. I didn't really enjoy that. But I think as we gave it some time, could get past it. It definitely had some nice notes.
Yeah, I mean, keep in mind, you're not really pouring a whiskey and shoving it up your nose right away. You know, you're pouring a whiskey and you're letting it sit for a little bit, and that would give it time for the ethanol to rest. Palate again, maybe a 3.5. It was nothing extraordinary. It was average. Slightly better than average to go 3.5. I liked it. I liked what I was getting. I liked the sense of pepper that I was getting out of it. Nothing really to write home about either. So, yeah I'm going to go 3.5 just because I think it's slightly better than average.
Yeah. I'm actually going to go with the 3.5 as well. What keeps it from a 4 for me is the extra ethanol that kind of burns through. But I really like the cinnamon and the pepper, like you were saying, Keith. So
I am going to go a 3. Yeah. I'm going to stick at a 3. There was some good notes there, but the ethanol there, so even if it's not ethanol, maybe it's like a peppery burn. There was still a burn there that was not enjoyable, whether it be ethanol or pepper. But I think that the rest notes, the sweet notes were good. I think I enjoyed it more though with water. Finish,
I'm going to go 3.5, more solid than the palate. Just the overall tone of the finish kind of put this over the top. That heat that we were getting at the end that wasn't, to me, an alcohol burn, a peppery burn, a spicy burn. I really enjoyed that. And adding the water to it, getting that subtle pecan pie finish at the end that seemingly came out of nowhere to me. Just, you know what? Make it a 4 on the finish for me on this one. Not a 3.5. Make it a 4 just because of those two things. It just kind of pushed it a little bit over.
I think the finish for me was a solid 3.5. I liked it. It was kind of a little bit long, neat. When you add the water into it, it dulled it a little bit such that you got that pecan flavor throughout it that just kind of like comes out of nowhere, but you don't notice that as much neat.
I'm putting it at 3.5 as well. It's better than the palate and the nose. It's, I think, the best part of this whiskey. All right, so let's jump into the ratings of other sites and the tasting notes from other sites. I only have one rating for this whiskey. It's from Whiskey Advocate, and they gave it a 78.
Wow. Really? That's it?
Harsh.
Unfortunately, though, I could not find any reviews that included a lot of tasting notes. So, no tasting notes there. So then, which means that we're going to jump right into our guesses. So we're looking for what kind of whiskey you think this is? What proof do you think this is? What would you be willing to pay, and what do you think the retail price is?
I'm going to go Canadian, 80 proof. I'm going to go 18 to 20 retail, and I would probably pay 15 to 20.
I'm not really sure. It doesn't taste like anything that I've had before, so that makes it harder to narrow down what it is.
It's very limited whiskey experience.
Yeah, very limited. I think I could probably count the number of whiskeys I've tried on one hand, and then that has doubled since I started doing this with Josh and Keith. So I think I'm going to say this is, I'll say it's a Tennessee whiskey. My guess is that it's like 87 proof. Retail, 12 to 15, and I might pay 13 or 14 for it.
So let's dive into the reveal then. So first off, you were right, it is a Canadian whiskey.
Wow.
I'm going to designate though this as, so this is not a legal designation,
Okay.
but I'm going to designate it as a Canadian rye whiskey.
Okay.
So versus a more typical Canadian whiskeys. You're closer on proof though. It was
Really?
90 proof.
90 proof, okay.
And so you guys were both high on retail price. Retail price is about $11.
Wow.
Really?
I paid $8 for it.
Okay.
I would definitely pay 8.
It's at least 3 years old per Canadian law.
Okay.
Is blended. We don't know what kind of mash bill or cask type it was. It was imported by Sazerac. And Sazerac owns the Old Montreal distillery, so it's believed that this is distilled at that distillery. Today, you guys drank Hunter Rye.
Hunter Rye.
Which is a blended Canadian whiskey. So I am designating this Canadian rye because some bottles that come in from Canada, they designate rye on their bottles to show that there's like a rye flavor to it. And I personally have a hard time kind of understanding Canadian whiskey when it gets imported into America and it has designations like that where they designate rye. For instance, Whistle Pig is a rye whiskey, but it's a product they were sourcing from Canada. I think they still are to an extent. But people call it a rye whiskey, not necessarily Canadian whiskey. They're also aging it in America, so there's like some weird designations there. But then other whiskeys from Canada also are usually more rye heavy than some other ones like our Black Velvet or our Canadian Club. So that's what I'm gonna try to designate these more as like Canadian rye whiskeys when they are more rye forward than just blended Canadian whiskeys. They'll still go head to head eventually, probably. So yeah, I picked that up in Ohio. I think it was like one of those last chance things in Ohio for like $8. So that's why I got so cheap.
It's got a nice label to it. Like the pattern around the label isn't just a straight cut on it. It's got like a little bit of a...
Yeah, it doesn't seem like they did cheap work on it. Although although there is another Hunter Canadian whiskey that exists in like their lineup, but it's a flavored whiskey, and I think it's only 80 proof.
Yeah, I like the rough edges on it. I like the Canadian dogs with looks like huskies and Hunter and dog sled.
The mountains in the background. And
yeah.
It's a nice like black and white, like gray scale.
Almost like a green scale.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It has a green tint to it.
Gives it that kind of late 1800s Yukon Gold Rush era.
Yeah.
And even for $11, a 90 proof whiskey for that cheap is pretty incredible.
And I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is probably the first Canadian whiskey we've... And we liked the Pike Creek rum.
Yes, we did.
Finished.
Yeah.
But that's double the price of this.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So for half the price of that, then this is more proof, and we enjoyed it more. So
Yeah.
I think this would go well in a cocktail.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh, yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
I think it'll cut through a cocktail pretty well.
Yeah.
So-
Having the water there kind of diluting things, but bringing out the other sweeter notes to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I'm not sure what kind of cocktail, but something. I'll have Eric figure that out. Until next time, then, may the winds of fortune sail you.
May you sail a gentle sea.
May it always be the other guy who says,
This drink's on me.